It all started on a Tuesday, or maybe a Wednesday. With Trump, the day hardly matters, you just know something big is coming. The world woke up not to birds, but to the clatter of Trump's keyboard from Mar-a-Lago. His tweet, "Canada stabs us in the back, sad." Their so-called energy plan is a joke. America first means America first. The heat was palpable. This wasn't just another rant, it was personal, it was geopolitical. Suddenly, Canada was public enemy number one. The tweet sent shockwaves through Washington and Ottawa. Aides scrambled, journalists dialed, and everyone wondered, what did Canada do now? For most Americans, Canada's energy policy is background noise, but Trump made it front-page news. He turned a policy announcement into a high-stakes drama, framing the narrative before anyone else could react. The tweet wasn't just a statement, it was a declaration of a new conflict, at least online. The calm, predictable US-Canada relationship was about to get messy. The journey began, pipelines, energy grids, and international politics, all thrown into chaos by a single tweet. Two countries, deeply connected, suddenly at odds. Two powerful personalities, one a strategist, the other a master of chaos, on a collision course. The opening scene was a blockbuster. The question, what did Canada do to make Trump this angry? The answer was both simple and incredibly complicated. North of the border, the man at the center wasn't Trudeau, it was Mark Carney. Carney, the financial heavyweight, calmly announced the Maple Leaf Mandate. It sounded friendly, but it was a bombshell. Canada would achieve complete energy independence within a decade. No more shipping crude oil south. Canada would process its own resources, invest in nuclear, and build a coast-to-coast smart grid. Canada, Carney declared, would become a self-sufficient, clean energy superpower. It was bold, ambitious, and a direct challenge to the status quo. Carney delivered the news with data, not drama. He insisted it wasn't about picking a fight, it was about securing Canada's future. The message, it's not you, America, it's us. We just need some space to build our own energy fortress. The speech was a masterclass in political maneuvering, wrapped in climate action and national pride. For Canadians, it was inspiring. For the US, it was a rude awakening. The quiet neighbor had just announced they were changing the locks. The old arrangement was over. Canada was done being just a resource depot. The Maple Leaf Mandate was a declaration of independence. The US suddenly realized the ground had shifted. The message was clear. The energy relationship would never be the same. The Maple Leaf Mandate hit Washington like a cold front in July, completely unexpected. For decades, the US-Canada energy partnership was stable and predictable. Canada supplied oil, gas, and hydropower. The US refined and consumed it. Everyone profited. No one in Washington saw a reason for change. Canada was viewed as a reliable, passive partner. The idea that Canada would overhaul this relationship seemed absurd, until now. The scale of Carney's plan was staggering. Canada would process all its resources at home, threatening US refineries built for Canadian crude. The push for nuclear and renewables signaled Canada wanted to leapfrog the US in energy tech. It was a strategic power play disguised as a green initiative, and it came from Mark Carney, a globally respected figure, not a fringe politician. His involvement gave the plan instant credibility. Washington couldn't dismiss it as posturing. It was a serious, well-crafted strategy. The US had been caught flat-footed clinging to an old playbook. The comfortable relationship was over. America was scrambling to figure out the new rules. The energy game had changed overnight. As Washington reeled, Trump went on the offensive. He bypassed diplomacy, taking his outrage straight to social media and cable news. Trump painted Carney as a globalist puppet, accusing Canada of stealing American jobs. He ignored the plan's nuances, focusing on a simple message. Canada is betraying us. They send us oil, we create jobs, now Carney says no more. It's a disgrace, a total betrayal. Trump's rhetoric hit home in energy states, warning of job losses and economic disaster. He turned a policy debate into a story of American workers being sold out. The Biden administration was caught in the crossfire, struggling to respond. Trump's narrative was emotional and effective, setting the terms of the debate. Canada's energy plan became a hot-button issue for the next election. The stage was set for a political showdown, across borders and within the US. The US and Canadian energy systems aren't just neighbors, they're intertwined like a duplex with shared wiring. Canada is America's largest foreign energy supplier. Oil, gas, electricity, even uranium. Millions of barrels of Canadian crude flow south daily, fueling US refineries and cars. The US gets a stable, friendly source of energy. Canada gets a guaranteed customer. This synergy shaped entire regions, from Alberta's oil sands to the Gulf Coast's refineries. The Maple Leaf Mandate threatens to cut these vital connections. By refining its own oil, Canada wants to keep the most profitable part of the business. American refineries built for Canadian crude could be left stranded. The electricity grids are also deeply linked. States like New York rely on Quebec hydropower. Carney's plan raises questions. Will Canada keep all that clean power for itself? The once unbreakable bond now showed serious strain. The foundation of North American energy was starting to crack. The stakes had never been higher. Weeks passed, but the tension only grew. In Canada, the Maple Leaf Mandate sparked national pride and political unity. The government stood firm. This was a sovereign decision. In the US, political battle lines hardened. The White House called for dialogue, but Trump and allies fanned the flames. Rallies erupted, cable news exploded, and the country was divided. Energy stocks swung wildly. Oil CEOs demanded action, warning of disaster if Canadian supply vanished. Canadian business leaders saw opportunity and innovation. A war of words erupted between Houston and Calgary. The standoff became an economic Cold War. Every statement, every tweet was scrutinized for clues. The once boring border was now a geopolitical fault line. Two allies, bound by history, were locked in a high-stakes standoff. No one knew how or when it would end. What does this drama mean for regular people? For Americans, especially in the North and Gulf Coast, the threat is economic. Refineries could shut down, jobs could vanish, and gas prices could spike. For Canadians, the Maple Leaf Mandate promises long-term gain but short-term pain, higher taxes and massive infrastructure costs. A trade dispute could raise prices on both sides of the border. Beyond money, the US-Canada relationship itself is at risk. The border, once a symbol of peace, now feels tense. Communities that straddle the line could feel the chill in daily life. Friends become competitors, trust is replaced by suspicion. The future is a fork in the road, conflict and trade wars, or negotiation and a new partnership. The choice depends on whether leaders can look past the rhetoric. The story of the US and Canada is still being written. This chapter will define their relationship for generations. The world is watching and waiting.